It makes me absolutely angry how people, when asked a question, can you tell us about mental health? And you've got individuals that will say, well, there are people that cry that they've got mental health and they don't actually have mental health. Now, again, there's the stigma, there's the judgment. You don't know what someone's going through behind closed doors, and you certainly cannot tell by looking at somebody whether or not they are suffering. Let's start there. Yeah. So when we look at the word mental health versus mental ill health, there are people with mental health. Yes, the thought process. Then there's the mental ill health, the coping strategies, and how well they cope in life. The judgment and the stigma that arises from people that don't suffer with mental ill health. It's that judgment by looking at somebody. They're judging them and go, there's nothing wrong with them. The amount of times I used to go into the mental health unit to go and get some support because I was in chronic depression. Hear those words that I'm using, chronic depression, and I was feeling poorly as far as I had suicide ideation. So I would take myself to after the GP, go to the GP first, and the GP will put you to secondary mental health care. And when they're doing their assessments, psychiatrists will do their assessments. What they often write is, oh, they came into the office today, the person was well kempt, that's the word they use, well kempt, basically describing what the person looks like. Most of all, they look at what you look like visibly. Now, a person that's got mental ill health may want to look after their appearance, but it doesn't stop them from having mental ill health. It doesn't stop them from having deliberating thoughts of wanting to end their life. So I'm sorry, but that's one of the things that people do wrongly, is judge somebody by their appearance. Judging someone on their appearance, you're going to get that so wrong. I often used to go into the office and tell them how I was feeling, give them a breakdown and a background of where I've come from and what I've had to go through and what I endure and how I feel and how I'm coping. And I used to go into that office not looking scruffy, but I used to often go in there, and there's many other people that I know would often go into the surgery to speak to someone, be it doctors or be it psychiatrists, but would make sure their hair is brushed and make sure that they were dressed appropriately and maybe even put makeup on. But that does not stop the person from feeling what they're feeling. This is about feelings. The feelings one has about themselves or situations. So I think what's prompted me to come on here and talk about the mental health is because of that comment. When that comment is made, oh, I often see them, they look really well dressed, they look nice. There's some people that don't have mental health. You can't tell who's got mental health, and I've always made and stipulated this. You cannot tell who has mental ill health by looking at them. What there is a pattern of behavior. Now, you might see someone on a good day, but on a bad day and behind closed doors, they may be experiencing high levels of distress. You see, that's the thing about that stigma. Mental ill health can be a very silent killer. Yeah? Suicide prevention, that is what I do in a nutshell. That's what I've been doing for many, many years, is trying to preserve life. And when I often meet people, they look perfectly normal. They look. But when I hear people and I hear the pain and when I hear what they're going through or what they want to do to end their life, that is the part where it's about breaking down the stigma. It's about rescuing that individual and making sure that they've got some self-worth. And even to get self-worth, to have that self-worth, to build up their self-esteem, is about laying down some conversations, real truth conversations. Earlier, somebody said to me, can you help my friend? They have a plan. They are talking negativity and they don't want to be here. Well, they also turned around and said, well, a person that tells you that what they're going to do and how they're going to do it won't actually do it. That is not true. That is your warning that they're in a need of help. That is a cry for help. So when you know somebody has a plan, my initial thing is, right, they need a conversation. We need to talk this through, lay down some boundaries, because boundaries are everything. And particularly men, and I'm going to come back with that one, talking about men who don't want to be here because they're broken up with a girlfriend. And again, it's the same thing for some of the women, because they're broken up with a boyfriend, that they do not want to be here on this earth anymore. I have been there. So it doesn't matter what somebody looks like. It's about giving the right conversation to the person that's struggling. So you can look at somebody and they could smile, and the next minute they end their life. So, yeah, well, I saw them today. They were all right. This is what I'm saying. The invisible illness. You don't know about the invisible illness. I call it a visible illness because, if you're going to have really extreme thoughts and intrusive thoughts, then you may need to speak to someone. So I always say the best remedy is open talk, and to talk openly about your feelings. And let's break down this stigma, shall we, about appearance